Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this episode 3852BN. Today's date is March 3rd, 2026. The title of the episode is What You Are Witnessing is the Destruction of the Deep State Leverage. Fight is real. Time is now. Central banks cause inflation, and that is a threat to you, your savings account, your retirement. Ask yourself an honest question. Does your dollar go as far as it did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even last year? So what does the next decade look like for you and your savings? If your portfolio lacks exposure to gold, one of history's most reliable economic hedges, it's time to rethink your strategy. Gold has kept up with inflation and in many periods outpaced it. My friends at Noble Gold Investment specialize in helping people protect their wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're rolling over an IRA or making a direct purchase, their team walks you through the entire process and makes it very simple. No pressure, just education and experience. Right now, all new qualified accounts will receive a free 1/10 of an ounce American Gold Eagle as a thank you. Visit X22Gold.com. That is X22Gold.com and discover how easy it is to protect your financial future. Or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, big tech, fake news, the puppet masters. You can see Trump now is looking at the entire board and he's preparing the country for what is to come. And remember this, like I've said before, and many people have said before, this is not just a normal 4-year election. This is about returning the power back to the people, removing the leverage from the deep state players. It's not business as usual. It's not what you've been used to. Everything is now changing. And what you're witnessing right now is the destruction of the deep state leverage. I mean, everyone talks about, I want accountability, I want arrest, I want to afford things. Yes, but you have to remember, the reason why Trump needs to do this is to get all of these things. The central bank system has made us poorer over time. Yes, he could put a Band-Aid on it, but is that going to help you, your children, your children's children, the future? No, it's not going to do anything. Remember, Trump didn't cause these problems. It's the deep state, it's the central bankers. They're the ones who cause this problem. Yes, and I know people are having a very difficult time because remember, the central bank system breaks down over time. Inflation always gets worse. They could tell you inflation is 0 right now. But again, inflation just doesn't go away. It's cumulative. So that's why you're always feeling the effect of inflation. This is why people say, how come I can't afford a house right now? When people say, hey, how come my salary's not keeping up with my bills? Hey, how come this? How come that? Why do I have to pay taxes? Because it's the central bank system. If you truly want Trump to basically take back the country, take it back from the central bankers, then he must remove the leverage that they have. Remember, everything that was put into place was to do what? It was to protect the source of their funds. It was to protect where all the money comes from for them to do the things that they've been doing. And that is what Trump is doing. So where everyone wants things to happen right now, I want affordable housing. I want lower fuel prices. I want better job. I don't want my money to lose value. I want accountability. I want arrests. I want all this now. Well, again, he's going to give it to you, but without removing their leverage, without removing their ability to attack, without removing the block and the guards that they put into place to keep control, this will never, ever happen. This is why step by step, what is Trump doing? He's removing their leverage every step of the way. He knows what's coming. He knows what they're going to do. He knows they're going to fight back. Why do you think when Biden brought in all these people, of course, Biden was to wake the American people up, he had to quickly move, took the year to remove the worst of the worst, the terrorists, the sleepers, the criminals, because he needed to keep the people safe. And he had to show to the people that, look, it's really not that difficult to get rid of the crime. All we got to do is throw the people in jail. He did this right off the bat. Then what else did he do? He removed the terror threat in Gaza. Who was funding the terror threat? Deep state, Iran, the rest. He got rid of Venezuela. Why? Because the funds were coming out of Venezuela. They were going where? To the communist nations, Cuba, Colombia, Iran. Yes, some of it was going to Ukraine, funding the operations. So he took control of Venezuela, removed Maduro, and then told the new leadership there, listen, we're going to work together. But again, everything that you've been doing is going to come to a screeching halt. Remember all the drug boats, all the oil tankers and everything else that he stopped? Well, he stopped the funding. Now he's in Iran. What is he doing there? He's removing their leverage to do us harm. What do you think Obama was setting Iran up to do? Why do you think they were shipping uranium around the world to certain countries? Why do you think Obama was funding them? Why do you think the installed leaders like Starmer, Macron, and the rest, why do you think they're holding back? Why do you think they're not saying, listen, use our bases, go attack Iran? Because once again, they're part of the problem. Think about all the illegals that they let into their countries. Most of them, or the majority of them, are from where? They're from Muslim countries. Again, they're all part of the same system. So nobody said the fight was going to be easy. Nobody said it was going to end in a day. Because again, Trump is now dismantling the entire system that they put into place. And they had years upon years to put all this into place. And nobody said it was going to be smooth. Nobody said he was going to snap his finger and say, listen, we just took the country back. Everyone happy? You see, this is where everyone gets a little mixed up. Just because he changes a couple of executive orders and reverses what Biden did, where he says, okay, no more men in women's bathrooms, no more men in women's sports. Oh, we're going to end the wokeism in the military. Oh, we're going to reverse the executive orders that Biden put out. Oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to remove the Green New Scam. Oh, you know what else we're going to do? We're going to drill for oil in this country. You see, that's not taking back the country. That's reversing what the deep state players did after Trump. You see, to take back the country, you got to go to the source of the problem. You got to remove the deep state army across the world that could or might do us harm before you go after these people, before you go after the central bank system. And that is what he's doing step by step. This is why he's going across the world. If you think it's just in America, you're fooling yourself. Think about it. Was it just Americans that cheated in the election, or did they have assistance from foreign entities? They had assistance from foreign entities. Venezuela was involved. Iran was involved, and many other nations. Because again, the deep state players, they're in line with these nations. Why do you think they were bringing Muslims into the European countries? Why do you think they were bringing Muslims into this country? And it wasn't like, oh, let's have a couple of them. I'm talking about tens of thousands of them. They were infiltrating the world. Trump now is shutting it all down. And yes, we're going to have accountability. I know people are having a very difficult time, especially in the economy with affordability and everything like that, because who caused all this? Was this Trump? Was Trump caused all this? You know, because he was here the first term, and then all of a sudden Biden came in, reversed everything that he did. Now he's back. Was it really Trump, or was it the deep state, the central bankers from the very, very beginning who caused all of this? So if you want an incredible economy, if you want affordability, if you want no inflation, if you want sound money, if you want great paying jobs, if you want all these things, then we have to remove everything that they put into place. It's not a Band-Aid fix anymore. You see, his first term, yes, he had inflation steady. He forced the central bank to lower the rates. He went ahead and he restructured the NAFTA agreement to the USMCA. But again, these were all Band-Aid fixes. This wasn't changing the entire structure of our system that the deep state players, the central bankers have set up. Now he's changing the structure. And when you change the structure, when you reverse everything that they put into place, what happens? Well, you're going to have to fight for it every step of the way. And that's what we're experiencing. So if everyone thought that this was going to be easy and he was going to snap his fingers and the deep state was just going to say, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to do this. We're just going to fold. No, they were going to fight back with everything that they have to keep their structure in place. Iran is just the beginning. Wait until we have to go with Ukraine. Wait until we go to the central bank system. Wait until we go ahead and bring these people to justice. We have all these battles in front of us. Because again, if this is not done and done correctly, all of this is for nothing. For example, in Iran, if we stop the bombing now and we let another Ayatollah come into power without the people taking back control of the country, nothing has changed. The whole point of the mission is to remove the embedded deep state players in that country. Remove the mullahs, remove the Muslims, remove those people in power and let the people of Iran take control so they can work with the United States. That's the whole point of this. The same thing with Ukraine. So nobody said this was going to be a snap of Trump's finger to all of a sudden reset everything. This is much, much larger than anyone could ever imagine. He's going up against the deep state system. We are now fighting. The fight is real. We went physical. Yes, we're going to go physical as we get closer to the election. I mean, right now, today, Kristi Noem was testifying in front of Congress, and they're asking her, are you going to bring ICE to the voting centers? Why would you need ICE in the voting centers? Why would they even ask that question unless you're planning on the illegals voting? It makes no sense whatsoever. So yes, we're going to fight every step of the way until we get to the midterms. And at the midterms, we're going to go all out to fight against the riots, against the deep state players, because they know how important the midterms are. And Trump is heading all this off before we get to the midterms. Why do you think he went after Iran right now? Think about it. He spent a year getting rid of the worst of the worst. He did it on purpose. He needed to make sure that certain areas were safe, certain areas were secure, and we got rid of the majority of the sleepers in this country. Before he went to Iran, and before that, he went to Venezuela to shut off the funding to all of this. Yes, he also shut off the funding with USAID, the NGOs, and many other different agencies. But think about why he did this step by step. It's to basically box them in. It's to basically suffocate them as he goes after them. And once again, all these stories about Trump's going to be running out of ammunition. We don't have. Do you really think about this for a second? Do you really think when he allowed the deep state players to cheat in the election so he can catch them, so he can use it against them later on, do you really think that he said to the military, listen, give Biden everything that you need, everything that he needs, send it all over to Ukraine? Or do you think Trump, since he was the commander in chief, and remember they had an insurrection against the sitting president, which was President Trump, do you think Trump, as the commander in chief, said, listen, this is what we're going to give them, but everything else that I did in my first term, all the weaponry, all the ammunition, no, you will not hand that over. That is under lock and key. It's secure because, again, they overthrew the United States government. I am the commander in chief and will only allow them access to certain ammunition, certain weapons to send over Ukraine. Everything else, you keep. Don't even tell them that you have it. You don't have to. Under executive order, under what happened during the elections, this is what Trump has done here. This is why he's out there letting everyone know all these stories of the United States running out of ammunition is fake. Yes, they were running out of ammunition because this is all they were going to give Biden. Think about this for a second. And remember, the time is now to do all of this. The people are behind him. The people are all for this. And think about what's going to happen when this war, it's not even a war, this event stops or is completed, I should say, in a couple of weeks before the midterms. Is everyone going to say, holy crap, this is incredible? We just freed Iran. The people have control. Now Trump is making economic deals with Iran. oil now is going to be flowing from Iran across the globe. So we have oil from Venezuela, we have oil from Iran. And all of a sudden, oil prices start to go down dramatically. People are going to see all of this. And again, you can't you can't put the cart in front of the horse. It doesn't work. And step by step, what is Trump doing? He's dismantling the deep state one step at a time to make sure in the end he has the leverage. He doesn't want to go after the source of the problem. He doesn't want to hold these people accountable if they still have the ability to get him, to get the people, to attack the people, to bring us to war, to do whatever they're going to do. He's removing all of this before we get to that point. And I know people are getting angry and pissed off and they want it now. Well, again, he's doing this in a very short period of time, a couple of years, compared to the deep state players that have established this entire system over 50 plus years and actually ramped it up in the last, 20 years? So Trump, he's pretty much doing this at lightning speed, and the deep state players, they're not going to win. And he will have the leverage. Actually, he gets the leverage when we, the people, assist him in doing what? In voting for the patriots that he endorses. So he has the power of the House. He has the power of the Senate. And we're able to remove laws, pass laws, and we're able to do the things that need to be done. Because again, think about it. The deep state players have been trying to stop him. They had the Supreme Court. They sued Trump. They brought him to the Supreme Court with the tariffs. The Supreme Court, was controlled by foreign entities, they went ahead and they ruled against the United States of America. If we have the House and Senate, can the House and Senate pass a law saying, no, the president has the ability to use tariffs? Absolutely. Just like when the central bank system came into existence fully in 1971, when we came off the gold standard, what did they do? They gave the president the ability to do what? To strike at any entity that tries to stop the petrodollar, that tries to stop the system from expanding. So Trump, right now, he is destroying the deep state leverage every step of the way. That's what this is all about. Step back and take a 40,000-foot view. This is not just about removing an Ayatollah. This is about making sure, in the end, the deep state loses all of their leverage, their ability to attack, to bring us to war. And when you look at all these different countries, those installed politicians, you can see what they're really protecting. And you can see that they're trying to play both sides because now they're trapped in all of this. But again, the time is now, and Trump, he's moving forward and he's winning every step of the way. And what do you think is going to happen once we win in Iran, once the people take back the country? The midterms are pretty much his. Really think about this, because think about it as we go throughout the year. Oil prices are going to drop dramatically. More jobs are being created. People getting tax refunds. People seeing the economy, the country, the world on the right track. So I do believe we're going to see all this. Now, Ukraine, that might come into play probably after the midterms. Now, again, I think the deep state players will probably try to use, and I'm going to bring this up once again, cyber attacks to try to bring us into World War III, because they know that, wait a minute, we just lost Venezuela. We just lost Iran. Colombia is not cooperating anymore. Cuba, they're going to be basically removing their dictatorship. So we lost Cuba. All we have left is Ukraine. Without Ukraine, we're kind of screwed here. So this is the time that we have to try to bring the world to World War III. See, Trump has pretty much trapped them, and they don't have the leverage that they had before. And Trump is actually bringing them down this path. And he knows exactly what their playbook is going to be. And we can see that in the end. And I think this is why he plays Nasun Dorma all the time, because, at dawn, he wins. Because once again, I do believe the deep state players, they're going to probably bring us to this scare event. And basically, when people wake up in the morning, they're going to realize that Trump has won and basically shut down everything that they tried to do to try to bring us to World War III. But again, you can see Trump, he's dismantling the deep state players every step of the way. We'll be talking a lot more about this a little bit later. But first, you could see that DEI is really having its effect on businesses right now. The Smoothie King Corporation, which proudly boasts its DEI training for employees and upper management, found itself at the center of a major controversy yesterday when two of its employees at their Ann Arbor, Michigan location decided to discriminate against a customer for wearing a hoodie sweatshirt displaying the name of the President of the United States. In the United States, mind you. And the video was recorded, and basically this is discrimination because it's political discrimination, and they decided that they don't want to serve these people because they are all for Trump, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, Smoothie King, they decided to let the employees go. They decided to make right by all of this. And once again, when you look at the city of Ann Arbor, they have strict rules against discrimination, including discrimination based on individuals' political beliefs. Chapter 112, Non-Discrimination of the Ann Arbor City Code of Ordinances, specifically Section 9-150, explicitly protects against discrimination based on actual or perceived political beliefs in public accommodations like retail businesses. So right there, the deep state players, the DEI trading, it all fell apart right in front of their eyes. And you could see Kristi Noem, she was testifying in front of Congress today, and she basically destroyed their entire narrative like she always does. Actually, if you notice, Trump brought in the best of the best, and they know how to handle the D's. They know how to handle the gotcha questions. They know how to turn it around and put it on them. And Kristi Noem, and Nick Sorter put this out, she just testified under oath that the Biden regime was paying child traffickers to sponsor unaccompanied minors coming across the border. Mayorkas and Biden should be in prison for this. The government was paying individuals that were knowingly trafficking them and abusing them. That has stopped now. Unaccompanied alien children were lost by the Biden administration, not tracked. She says we've located about 145,000 of them. And yes, they should be in prison for what they have done here. Absolutely unbelievable. And the other thing that's very unbelievable is the video of Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton has come out. Now, remember, these hearings are not to put them in prison. These hearings are to get them on record because you know in these hearings what they're going to do. They're going to lie about everything. Did you know this person? No, I didn't. Who was that person? Did you know that? No, I didn't know that person. So these hearings are put into place to ask them questions, to get them on record. So when the evidence comes out later, they're caught lying about what they have done. And that is the cover up. Because when people see this, they go, wait a minute, you just lied to us? You knew that person? You knew who was in the hot tub? You know Jeffrey Epstein, even though Hillary Clinton says, I don't know Jeffrey Epstein. You know all of these people. You lied to the American people. You lied to Congress under oath. That's what this is all about. And that's why certain questions are asked. And this is why people get very upset because, again, this is not a court of law. This is not to show the evidence to basically put them in prison. This is to trap them in their testimony because, again, the grand jury is looking at the information. You take what they did during the hearings, you take it and you use it in the grand jury information, showing that they lied when the grand jury information shows something different. This is how you catch them in a cover-up. And when you catch people in a cover-up, it shows that they've committed the crime. Because why would you be covering something up? Why would you get angry during questioning if you did absolutely nothing wrong? You wouldn't care, would you? The only reason people get angry and pissed off for any reason is because they're guilty. Because deep down inside, they're defending what they did. And what happens is you get angrier and angrier and angrier and you try to deflect. That's what you try to do. But you could see when you look at all the different videos and you look at what's going on, you could see that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton got very, very angry over the most ridiculous thing ever because who cares if the pictures are being taken? The videos were released. It makes no sense whatsoever. Yes, there were rules that were put into place, and yes, they should have followed the rules. But once again, why would you get so angry, especially with some of the questions that were being asked? If you did absolutely nothing wrong, you have no idea who Epstein is, you had no relationship with Epstein, he didn't give you any money, you wouldn't care about these questions. You'd be like, I have no idea. I have nothing to do with this. But you can see that Hillary Clinton, she was angry when the questions were being asked, which means she's hiding something. And I do believe that this will be brought out later. Now, when they asked Bill and Hillary Clinton, did you think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? They pretty much said that he basically died mysteriously. So that's very, very interesting. So let's see how this all plays out in the end, and let's see what happens. But you can see the deep state players, they are panicked of what Trump is doing right now. They never wanted this done. They never wanted anyone to go into Iran and overthrow the Ayatollah and give the country back to the people of Iran. Because once again, Obama and the installed people, they've been able to control the Ayatollah by giving the Ayatollah and the mullahs exactly what they wanted: money, uranium, the ability to make a nuclear weapon, to actually start World War III. And yes, there are many different countries that were going to be involved with this. This is Iran, North Korea, and yes, they were going to start fight with Russia. But you can see now it's all completely and utterly falling apart. And what's very interesting, we have Macron now out there working with other European nations, working with Germany, working with Poland, and many others. And they're going to establish a nuclear steering group in which they coordinate on deterrence issues. Macron is out there letting everyone know that they're going to ramp up their nuclear weapons, and they're not going to reveal what nuclear weapons they have. So that's very, very interesting. So all three are deepening cooperation on nuclear deterrence through a new French-led forward deterrence or advanced deterrence framework announced by Macron. And Poland and Germany are among 8 European partners, along with the UK, Netherlands, Belgium, Greece, Sweden, and Denmark, that have agreed to participate. So why are they all of a sudden doing this? Well, it's Russia's war in Ukraine. Repeated nuclear saber rattling, development of new missiles and vast arsenal are seen as direct escalating dangers. European leaders want a stronger deterrent so no adversary, especially Russia, can contemplate an attack without facing unacceptable damage. So once again, they're doing this because they believe that Russia is going to attack. Now, why would they believe that? Because Trump doesn't believe that Russia is going to attack. Are they going to force Russia to attack? Absolutely. What are they trying to do? They're trying to get World War III off the ground. That's what they're really trying to do here. So for them saying that, hey, we're building up our nuclear arsenal, where do they want to bring this? They want to bring this to a nuclear war. Will there be a nuclear standoff? Will it be like a Cuban Missile Crisis? Maybe, maybe not, but it looks like this is what they're trying to push here. Now, we know that we're heading down this path. We know from a lot of the posts that it's going to be like a Cuban Missile Crisis, a standoff, a nuclear standoff. So let's see how this all plays out. But you can see we're heading down this way. Now, when you look at Iran, you can see Antifa, you can see liberal, white women and others. They all joined in supporting the Ayatollah, the dictatorship in Iran. And once again, liberal women are holding up portraits of the fallen Ayatollah Khomeini walking past Trump Tower in New York City. So once again, they're doing exactly what they always do. They just change costumes right now, and now they're all for Iran. So Wall Street Maverick put this out and said, in the past 2 months, Democrats have supported drug cartels, a Venezuelan dictator, illegal aliens, Iran, rallies against American gold medal hockey team. They're pretty much against everything, and they're all for criminals, drug dealers, dictators, and everything else. I mean, really think about that for a second. I don't think it gets any clearer than that. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is that, yes, we've seen those people that are truly MAGA, those people that are truly with Trump, and then you've seen those people that pretend to be with Trump and then later turn on him because they really don't understand what's going on. Or maybe they do, I don't know. But you can see Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, they're both basically turning on Trump. Yes, they're all against the war. I don't know what happened to Tucker, but it's very odd. And it seems like maybe he's paid off or whatever it is. Who knows? But again, He could say whatever he wants. That makes no difference whatsoever. Actually, Trump said it makes no difference. It has no effect on him. But Megyn Kelly, she was against Trump, then she was for Trump. Now she's against Trump because Trump now is going into Iran. And remember, this is not a neocon war. This is not a democratic war. This is about destroying the deep state players right now and removing their leverage. Now, you may have seen the conversations happening online lately. Censorship is back and it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want us to see. We need to fight back. Rumble is the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. On one side, Rumble is challenging big tech censorship. But now, on the other side, they have introduced something that will give us protection from the big banks shutting us off. Banks can cancel our accounts and freeze our cards. So that's why they launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one can cancel and a wallet that supporters can use to instantly tip creators like myself without any minimum taking cuts. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It's yours, only yours to protect your future and family. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin, Tether Gold in one place. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but it also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. There'll be no fees when you tip my channel or anyone else, and we actually receive the tip instantly. Unlike other platforms where we have to wait for payouts. Support my show and other creators by clicking the tip button on my Rumble channel. It's wallet.rumble.com. Download Rumble Wallet today, open an account, and step away from the big banks for good. Or just go to the App Store, or just click the link in the description. Basically, what Trump is doing is he's removing everything the deep state players have put into place over the many, many years. And he's freeing the world from it. And think about it. The Middle East cannot be in peace. The Abraham Accords will not work unless Iran is set free. Then you will truly have peace in the Middle East. And once again, everyone believes, oh, Trump is controlled by Israel. This is not an Israeli war. Think about it. Obama was giving pallets of cash to Iran. They smuggled uranium across the world. It ended up in Iran. There was a site in Syria. It went to North Korea. This has nothing to do with Israel. Yes, Israel is very close to Iran. But Trump is not controlled by Israel. Trump is his own man. He calls the shot. We are the power. It's not like all the others. And Trump let everyone know that he may have forced Israel's hand to go to war with Iran, not the other way around. He said, I might have forced their hand. Trump is driving it all. He always has been. Remember, from the very beginning, if you go back in time, he let everyone know that, listen, I'm trying to get candidates to win the election and take back this country. And if they can't do it, I might have to finally step in. Do you really think he stepped into for running for president without creating a plan? You don't think he saw the long-term problems that he has to tackle and how he had to maneuver around everything to get the leverage that he needs? You don't think he realized that it was going to be a minefield that he was going to have to walk through? With the Russian collusion, impeachment number 1, number 2, the indictments, the assassination attempt. You don't think he realized that, hey, by the way, the deep state players is much deeper and wider than anyone possibly could imagine. They have a money system that is funding the entire world, their entire system, and it's coming from Venezuela, especially the United States, of course, with the NGOs, with USAID and everything else, and actually leads back to the central bank system. But I can't touch the central bank system right now because if I shut that down, the country is completely and utterly destroyed. So before I shut that down, I have to create the parallel economic system with the tariff system to fund the country. But what I could do is I could shut down the middlemen. I can shut down USAID. I can shut down the NGOs. I can shut down all these agencies. I can remove these people that they put into place. I can shut down Venezuela, stop the shipment of drugs, human trafficking, child trafficking, oil, and everything else, and stop the cheating in the elections. So you don't think he came up with a plan to basically dismantle the deep state players and say, okay, we got all of that. Now we got to go after the terrorism part of it. Where do you think the terrorism came from with 9/11 and everything else? Where do you think all this came from? The deep state players, they created all this. They used assets in the Middle East. Where do you think these assets came from? It came from Iran. And once again, Trump, he's stepping back, taking a look at the big picture and going, okay, if I'm going to save this country and save the world, I got to dismantle everything that they put into place. Now, a lot of people aren't going to understand this. A lot of people are going to think it's business as usual. There's just another 4-year election and everything's going to be the same. No, we are now changing and restructuring everything. And yes, it's going to be a fight every step of the way. You don't think he's been fighting this entire time? While you're sitting in your living room watching it on TV or hearing about it and all worried and sweating? Let's see. He's been going through it every single day where they're trying to stop him. Nonstop. And they're going to continue to do it, especially as he gets closer and closer in removing the central bank system, removing everything the deep state players have put into place. Because he has to do this if you want accountability. He has to do this if you want a better way of life. He has to do this so we're no longer controlled by these people. Remember, he's setting the country free from the grasp of the tyrants. Just like our founding fathers did. They fought a war. They bled. They lost their wealth. They lost their families. They lost everything just to have freedom. What do you think we're fighting for right now? We're fighting for freedom. And remember, the tyrants, they expanded their system across the globe. And yes, Trump is going to use whatever he needs to use to destroy them. And that is what you're witnessing right now. That is what you're seeing. And when you look at Spain or the UK or France or all these other nations, especially Spain, they don't want anything to do with the United States. They will not allow American military to use their joint air bases. And basically you could see that a lot of these nations, the European nations, they're having a very difficult time. Spain just came out and they just said it. And you could see that other European nations are having a very difficult time because think about the world stage right now. Wait a minute. You're not helping your U.S. ally to go against Iran? You complain about Iran every single day. And now all of a sudden, you don't want to do this? Amuse says, I'm old enough to remember when Trump wondered aloud whether NATO would come to our aid if we called for their help. He was right again. NATO allies, UK, Germany, France, and Spain, refused to let us use our bases in their countries for the strikes against Iran. Of course, now that British citizens are being attacked in Dubai, they've changed their mind. Things are going so well, France decided to send their carrier strike group there. Fair weather friends, indeed. Absolutely. And Trump let Spain know that we're cutting off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. Again, are these people truly our allies? Yes, the people of those countries are. The installed politicians are not. They are controlled by the deep state players. So yes, the people, they're sitting there going, what the hell is going on here? Why aren't you helping the U.S.? We love the U.S. Remember, these people are installed. These are the people that should be pushed out of power. And I think in the end, the people of these countries are going to do this. And what's very interesting is you see that Russia and China, yes, they are using their words saying, we don't agree with this war. Trump shouldn't be doing this. We condemn the war. Now, of course, yes, they're using their words, but if you notice, China is not going to support Iran militarily. Russia is not going to support Iran militarily. Ask yourself a simple question. Why not? Yes, they will use their words and condemn it. Looks good on the world stage, but why aren't they coming to their aid? Because again, they know in the end, the deep state would love for Russia and China to come to their aid to start World War III. That's really what they thought was going to happen. But Trump spoke to Putin. Trump spoke to Xi. And guess what happened? He said, listen, we're going to get rid of the deep state players. We're going to get rid of what they've set up here. And I'm going to make economic deals with you like you've never seen before. So you don't have to go to war. You don't have to lose your population. We don't have to do any of these things. Just sit this one out. Let's get rid of the deep state players here. They said, okay, let's do it. Just like he did with Venezuela. So once again, you could see Trump has the upper hand. And you have to remember, Iran and Venezuela, they export most of their crude oil to China, like we said the other day. And once again, do you think China is going to be able to get their oil from other places after this? Yeah. Things are going to change rapidly. So we're not witnessing a conventional war. We're watching the gradual dismantling of the New World Order. The old power alignments are fracturing. And the clear signal is that Russia and China have deliberately chosen not to back Iran militarily. The silence isn't weakness, it's strategy by Trump. And the deep state players, they're sitting there going, holy crap, where's China? Where's Russia? This is why they never wanted Trump speaking to Putin, because they were hoping Putin would come to the aid of Iran, come to the aid, or China come to the aid of North Korea. Trump has shut all this down. So what do they have left? All they have left is to try to start something out in Ukraine, to try to force Russia into doing something. Now think about why France, the UK, and all the other nations are going full nuclear. Let me see. Trump is ushering in peace around the world because soon, in a couple of weeks, you're going to see there's going to be peace in the Middle East. Venezuela is not a threat anymore. Soon, Cuba, the leadership there is going to change, and we're going to be doing business with Cuba. So where is this threat that everyone's talking about? Russia? No, Trump has a very good relationship with Putin. Russia's not going to be attacking anyone unless the deep state players and these installed politicians push a false flag. Yeah, then something's going to happen. But you can see the U.S. military, they have released footage showing attacks on Iran's mobile missile launchers. Also, the U.S. Central Command put out 2 days ago the Iranian regime had 11 ships in the Gulf of Oman. Today they have 0. The Iranian regime has harassed and attacked international shipping in the Gulf of Oman for decades. Those days are over. Freedom of maritime navigation has underpinned American and global economic prosperity for more than 80 years. U.S. forces will continue to defend it. And now Trump put out a post in Truth letting everyone know that the U.S. is going to be escorting oil tankers or any type of ship through the Strait of Hormuz. So once again, Trump, the U.S., they're taking control of this entire area. And again, the whole point of all this is to allow the people to take control of their country and remove the mullahs, remove the Ayatollah, remove the Muslim faction in the country, and let the Persians take back control of their country. And every time they voted on the next Ayatollah, the supreme leader, well, that supreme leader is continually taken out. And this time, it looks like the place where they voted, the Assembly of Experts building in Tehran, it was blown up by Israel. And now, guess what? They're not going to be voting there. Actually, 88 members of the council were reportedly holding ballots at the time to choose the next Iranian supreme leader when they blew it up. So they just shut that down completely. And the other thing that's very interesting, and Jim Ferguson put this out, is that the Iranian state TV aired a propaganda video showcasing what it claimed was an underground missile storage facility. And they pulled out their ballistic missile out of the caves, showing, look, now we're moving towards the ballistic missiles. And you know what happened? As soon as they did that, the U.S. and Israel, they struck the caves and blew up the ballistic missiles. So that has been taken care of right now. And that should tell you everything you need to know. And like we said before, the mission is to do what? The mission is to have the people take back the country. And you can see the fake news, the Ds, they're all upset with Trump because he used the War Powers Act of 1973, the War Powers Act of 1973 that was put into place by the deep state players. He's using it against them. And the reporter asked Marco Rubio, why not notify Congress about this? Rubio says, we did. We notified congressional leadership. We briefed the Gang of Eight twice. We have complied with the law 100%. Now, the fake news, they know this. It's been around since 1973. Under the law, they don't have to notify everyone in Congress. Actually, you only have to notify those in leadership positions, the Speaker of the House and the President pro tempore of the Senate. Here is the exact requirements from Section 4A of the resolution. In absence of a declaration of war by Congress, in any case in which United States armed forces are introduced into hostilities or into situations where imminent involvement in hostilities is clearly indicated by the circumstances into the territory, airspace, or waters of foreign nation, while equipped for combat or in numbers which substantially enlarge United States Armed Forces equipment for combat already located in foreign nations. The president shall submit within 48 hours to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and to the President pro tempore of the Senate a report in writing setting forth the circumstances necessitating the introduction of the United States Armed Forces, the constitutional and legislative authority under which such introduction took place, and the estimated scope and duration of the hostilities or involvement. So basically, he notifies those people in Congress, not the entire Congress. You don't have to do that. Just the leadership. And he has to submit a report within 48 hours. And U.S. Homeland Security News says President Trump has fulfilled the requirements of the War Powers Act, notifying Congress about the war against Iran. The law requires this report within 48 hours. Trump always follows the letter of the law, and he's using the deep state laws against them. And guess what? The deep state players can't stand this. And Trump let everyone know why he had to do this. He put this out on Truth. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrendous Iran nuclear deal, JCPOA, Iran would have a nuclear weapon 3 years ago. That was the most dangerous transaction we have ever entered into. And had it been allowed to stand, the world would be entirely a different place right now. You can blame Barack Hussein Obama and Sleepy Joe Biden. Thank you, President DJT. And Trump addressed the stockpile issue, the munitions stockpile issue that everyone is making a big deal about. And remember what he said. He rebuilt the military. It's not just the armed forces. It's the equipment. It's the ammunition. It's everything. This is what he put out. The United States munition stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better. As was stated to me today, we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successful using just these supplies, which are better than other countries' finest arms. At the highest end, we've had a good supply, but are not where we want to be. Much additional high-grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries. Sleepy Joe Biden spent all of his time and our country's money giving everything to P.T. Barnum Zelensky of Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars worth. And while he gave so much of the super high end away free, he didn't bother to replace it. Fortunately, I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so. The United States is stocked and ready to win big. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. And you can see Trump right now, he is basically destroying the deep state every step of the way. And basically, Iran has nothing left. Mark Dyson put this out and said, we're witnessing the birth of the Trump doctrine. Like Reagan, the president has found a way to change the world without putting boots on the ground. Trump said, their air defense, Air Force, Navy, and leadership is gone. They want to talk. I said, too late. And once again, when you look back in time, Trump, Q, they all let us know that this was going to happen. Soon, the leadership of Iran would want to talk. But negotiation time is over. And again, you don't want the leadership to stay in power. You want them removed. That is the mission right now. Remember, Trump gave them the chance. Listen, remove your nuclear weapons. Don't play games. You didn't do it? Okay, I hit your nuclear reactor. I hit your nuclear development center. I showed you I mean business. So let's negotiate. They jerked him around. They delayed. He said, you know what? We're done here. You saw what I could do. If you don't think I'm going to come in and get rid of all of you, you're fooling yourselves. So go ahead. Try to fight. You're going to lose. Trump went ahead and said, listen, it's time to take them all out. Now that they're losing, they want to negotiate. There are no negotiations with terrorists. Now the people have a chance to take back their country. And you can see the U.S. State Department is urging Americans to leave immediately using commercial travel options amid serious security concerns. And the countries are Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. So most of these countries are signed on to the Abraham Accords, and you can see that Iran is very, very angry. And you can see they're fighting and hitting them. Now, these countries, they're going to start to hit back pretty darn hard. Because you have to remember, it's not just the United States. It's these countries that signed on to the Abraham Accords. And if Iran attacks them, It gives them the ability to attack Iran. Now think about it. If all these countries are attacking Iran and destroying the mullahs, destroying the Ayatollah, destroying the leadership there, you think they're going to be able to withstand this? Absolutely not. Think about what Trump set up here. Think about what happened. Mark Deason once again says, as important as what Trump is doing is how he's doing it. With Operation Epic Fury, we're witnessing the birth of a new doctrine to guide U.S. global leadership in the 21st century. Trump says, have unlimited mid to upper tier weaponry. Brutal stuff. Wall Street Journal story was wrong and a disgrace. President DJT. And basically, yes, he has the upper hand. He built the military. He didn't give everything to Biden. Why would he do this? He knew what needed to be done once he won the election in 2024. Why would you give everything to Biden? You wouldn't, because you have to remember, he was the commander-in-chief during this period of time. Now, what's very interesting, and this is coming from sources in the CIA, doesn't mean it's coming from Ratcliffe. It's coming from CIA 1.0, saying that Khamenei's replacement will likely be more hardline. Well, no, it's not replacing Ayatollah Khamenei with another Ayatollah with the same faction. It's removing that entire faction and letting the people run their own country. Department of State put this out and said, our mission is coming from Rubio. Our mission is the destruction of Iran's ballistic missile capabilities and their ability to manufacture them. That said, we hope the Iranian people can overthrow this government and establish a new future for their country. That is what it's all about. Cynical Publius says, okay, listen up, doomsters and panicins. By the midterms, America will not be involved in any wars in the Middle East. Iran will have a new government that is, at minimum, not hostile to the U.S. and no longer funding Hezbollah and Hamas. And as a result of a lack of terror funding, the Gulf Arab states will finally be able to establish lasting, stable, peaceful relations with Israel. At long last, we will have peace in the Middle East, and Trump will be hailed as a world-changing visionary. So just take a Xanax and calm down. And that is absolutely true. And once again, you can see where all of this is going. Trump, he put this out and said, the radical left Democrats, a party that has completely lost its way, are complaining bitterly about the very necessary and important attack by the United States and Israel on Iran. What most people understand is that they are only complaining because I did it. And if I didn't do it, they'd be screaming, why didn't Trump attack Iran? He should do it immediately. There's nothing surprising about this. It's the same people that the other night at the State of the Union address wouldn't stand for anybody, including a mother who lost her beautiful daughter to an illegal alien, a great and brave helicopter pilot who got the Congressional Medal of Honor, or a 100-year-old veteran warrior whose bravery is legend. The fact is, whatever I do, they'll be on the opposite side. These people are sick, crazy, and demented, but America, despite them all, is now bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Make America great again, President DJT. And again, these individuals, they were installed by the deep state players. If you notice, they always have Antifa out there. They always have the brainwashed liberal women out there. They always have the criminals out there, always protesting against Trump destroying the deep state players, destroying the deep state players in Gaza, going into Venezuela, going into Iran, removing the illegals from the streets. The deep state players, they're always angry because Trump is removing their foot soldiers. That is what you're witnessing. And all of this reminds me of Post 1604. And I'm going to read in the middle, it says the following. At some point, military generals will act with the will of the people simply because their soldiers are those same people that have no choice. So think about what's going to happen in Iran. As the bombardment continues, you're going to see certain individuals within the country, the generals, say it's time to change things up. It's time to remove the mullahs. It's time to remove the entire ruling faction. It's time to take back the country. And you're going to see a huge change. And that change is coming very, very quickly. Just like we see incredible change out in California. Once again, the laws that they are pushing are completely and utterly unconstitutional and go against parents' rights. Thomas More Society put this out and said the Supreme Court just handed a historic victory to parents over California's secret gender transition policies today, ruling 6-2 in our case Mirabelli versus Bonta. Decision and reactions. California required schools to secretly facilitate children's gender transitions without telling parents. Teachers were forced to use different names and pronouns behind parents' back. One family only found out their daughter had been transitioning at school after she attempted suicide. Today, the court said enough. The justices found that the California secrecy regime likely violates both the First Amendment and the 14th Amendment protection of parental rights. The court held that California cut out the primary protectors of children's best interests, their parents. What makes this decision groundbreaking? The court reaffirmed that parents, not the state, have the constitutional right to direct the upbringing of their children and to participate in the decisions about their children's mental health. Even Justin Kagan, in dissent, said she has no doubt parents have these rights and that the California could have crossed the constitutional line. And once again, this is what they were trying to do. They were trying to bring us into their messed up world, saying parents have no right to raise their children. The groomers wanted the rights because they were trying to groom the children into a different world. And now that's being shut down. And this case can be used now across the country. So all of a sudden, everything has come to a screeching halt. And it looks like the deep state players, they're losing everything. Because again, the Constitution always protects the people. You could see the true tyrants now. It's clear as day. Anyone that goes against the Constitution is a tyrant. Remember, the Founding Fathers created the Constitution to protect all the people from tyrants. This is why they put it together. This is why they gave the people the rights. This is why they created all of this, because they fought against it. They knew who the tyrants were. And maybe they didn't know about gender surgeries and grooming and things like that back then, but they knew that the parents have the rights. So no matter what they try to do, the people have the right. And they can't fight against the people's rights. The people will always win in the end. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is that Trump was invited to the White House Correspondents Association. They asked him. And Trump responded to them in truth and said, the White House Correspondents Association asked me very nicely to be the honoree at this year's dinner, a long and storied tradition since it began in 1924 under the President Calvin Coolidge, in honor of our nation's 250th birthday and the fact that these correspondents now admit that I am truly one of the greatest presidents in the history of our country, the GOAT, according to many. It will be my honor to accept their invitation and to work to make it the greatest, hottest, and most spectacular dinner of any kind ever. Because the press was extraordinarily bad to me, fake news all, right from the beginning of my first term, I boycotted the event and never went as honoree. However, I look forward to being with everyone this year. Hopefully, it will be something very special. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. And he should be going at this point. And why is he going? Because he has all the leverage. And you can see as we approach the midterms, you can see the deep state players, the Ds, they're very, very panicked about the midterms. Why? Because, again, they're losing their leverage. And they're trying to figure out what Kristi Noem, what Trump have in store for them. Because, again, what are they going to try to do? They're going to try to cheat in the election, or they're going to try to stop the elections. And Kristi Noem, she was basically testifying in front of Congress. Let's TikTok put this out. And Kristi Noem just bodied Senator Coons. Coons said, will you rule out the deployment of ICE to polling places this November? Noem says, do you plan on illegals voting in our elections, Senator? Boom. Now ask yourself a very simple question. Why would illegals have to come to the voting centers if they can't vote in the election? What possible reason would they have to be there? Is it because they were told to go there? Is it because they're going to cheat in the election? And once again, you could see what the deep state players have in mind. This is why Trump is continually trying to push the Senate into voting for the Save America Act. Trump, once again, put this out on Truth to say, America's elections are rigged, stolen, and a laughingstock all over the world. We're either going to fix them or we don't have a country any longer. I'm asking all Republicans to fight for the following. Save America Act. All voters must show voter ID identification. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. And he keeps bringing this up because, again, you could see Senator Thune is doing everything but bringing this to a vote. And once again, he wants the deep state, the rhinos, to do the right thing. And again, you could see they're pushing back on all of this. And if all else fails, this is why he started the investigations in Fulton County, then Arizona, because if all else fails, they have all this time to show the country and show the president, because that's what they're going to do, that the elections are rigged. They have the ability to cheat in the elections. They have the ability to access the machines. They have the ability to reproduce the mail-in ballots. They have the ability to feed in the ballots to cheat, which they did in 2020, which they did in 2022, which they tried to do in 2024. And because of that, it's a national security issue. But again, Trump doesn't really want to go down this path. But if they don't do the right thing, this is exactly what he's going to do. This is why he's always put in safeguards. And this is why he's making sure that the people are safe, because he knows what's coming during the midterms. He knows the deep state players have to go all out. He knows if they can't cheat, they're going to try to stop it with riots and maybe other things. He's getting prepared for it. That is what you're witnessing. Remember, he's trying to take back control of this country. He's trying to basically remove the tyrants. Yes, they still have control over certain parts of this country and the world. They have control of the judiciary. They still have illegals in this country. They start using Antifa. They still have mayors, governors, secretary of states. They still have police in position. So yes, we're still fighting a war. It has not ended. And if everyone wants a better way of life, if everyone wants accountability, we have to finish the war. And this is what Trump is doing. He's making sure the people are safe. He's putting everything in place. So in the end, he has all the leverage. And the deep state is at their weakest point. And they will be. Why? Because the patriots are in control. Listen, everyone. Thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.